And we are live.
Welcome back to Checkpoint, brought to you by Strictly Casual, your number one show, rounding up all the hottest gaming news stories of the week and discussing all the relevant topics you need to know about. I'm one of your hosts, James Walmer, joined today by the spiciest meatball in the gaming industry, Vincent Anthony DeSantis.
Whoa, there it is.
Audio listeners, thank you so much. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com at Strictly Casual. Hit us with a rating on audio platforms and sub. It helps us out a lot. Vin, explain the new membership stuff.
Boom. Here we go. Simple as it possibly can be. We have Checkpoint. We have Freeze Frame, right? We usually post a video podcast, but not anymore. We post the video podcast still on YouTube, but they're under a membership paywall, which is $2 a month if you would like to support us there. But if you can't support us there, that's totally fine. We post clips of the podcast on YouTube, and the podcast is always free on audio platforms, no matter where, like everywhere. So if you just want the video, it's under the $2 paywall. We have a lot of reasoning behind that. Mostly one, because it kills our search like results and suggestions when we post an hour-long video when the rest of our content is like 5 to 8 minutes. So it's just something we're trying out. We're totally open to feedback too. I was telling somebody about that earlier. So if you have feedback for us, we'd love to hear it.
Great. We also have a bunch of spicy content on the channel. If you haven't heard of Freeze Frame, go check them out. If you like movie news, if you like movies, if you like Marvel, if you like entertainment, all that good stuff, go check out the Freeze Frame podcast. I was co-hosting that earlier this week. That should be out now. Huge plug to Ryder. He does so much work on the channel and doesn't get a lot of love here over on Checkpoint, but we love him very much. God bless him. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, but we'll talk to you guys about that later. Today, we're talking about Microsoft buying Blizzard. We're talking about brunch at TT Games with the new Lego Star Wars, along with a bunch of other juicy stuff.
This is the biggest news story of the year and maybe last year ever, that we have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But Vincent, before we get into it, before we sink our teeth into these juicy stories, I need to check in on you. How you doing? What are you playing?
I'm doing great. I've played probably 5 hours of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I was dogging on it last week, but I played a lot with Gabe this week. We also I've played about 2 hours of Undertale last night, which I'm absolutely loving. I love Undertale so much.
It's so good.
And then
it's so self-aware.
What else have I been playing? That's it. I haven't really played too much since we did the last podcast, because I was in LA with you, and then just the last couple of days I've been working a lot. So those are the two things I've played. Oh, Jeezy and I played 2 matches of Fortnite last night, and I'm a little guilty about it, but I have a reason. But we'll go into that later.
Fair enough. I played just Halo, and I am still confronted with all the same frustrations that come with the cosmetics in Halo, particularly with armor sets and like locking specific armor pieces to armor sets. Also, it just feels weird to unlock colors for things. Still,
I got a question for you. How does it feel? Yeah. This is a step in the right direction for me. In the new Cyber Showdown event, the visor you can put on any armor set.
Which is great, but it's an armor effect.
It's an armor effect, exactly. Yeah,
it's an armor effect. It's not an actual piece of armor.
Yeah.
So I guess they can get away with that because it's an armor effect, but that's different from the other armor effects with like the fire, So it's the same. I'm just gonna get into the news because I'm bitter about Halo still.
Sorry, man. I'm ready to go. This is big.
Okay, let's you know what? Let's just get into it. Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion with a B.
Yes.
This comes from Polygon.com. Microsoft plans to acquire Activision Blizzard, publisher of some of the most popular games on the planet, from World of Warcraft to Call of Duty, as well as the studios currently embroiled in multiple lawsuits related to accusations of gender discrimination in its workplace, the company announced Tuesday. Xbox boss Phil Spencer will serve as the CEO of Microsoft Gaming and oversee Activision Blizzard once the transaction is finalized. And we'll have more details on this in a second.
Yeah.
The deal is worth $68.7 billion with the little Mr. Evil Pinky in the corner of the mouth. The largest acquisition in the company's history, and James, maybe in the gaming industry ever.
I cannot fathom $68.7 billion. I
can't even imagine how.
I can't imagine $1 million in front of me, let alone $1 billion, let alone 70 billion. That's crazy to me. I don't even know, man. It's crazy.
In a blog post about this acquisition, Spencer said that Microsoft, quote, will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within the Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, both new titles and games from Activision's Blizzard's incredible catalog, end quote. Activision Blizzard, mind you, is currently facing multiple lawsuits and federal investigations, as well as calls for its CEO, Bobby Kotick, to resign over serious allegations of sexual harassment and assault at the
Hashtag fire
publisher
Bobby
as
Kotick.
hashtag fire Bobby Kotick and its studios, including Blizzard. Kotick will remain CEO of Activision Blizzard until Microsoft acquisition of the publisher closes, which is expected to complete in 2023. And
Big
that's the
detail.
end of the fiscal year in 2023. So that's until June 2023.
Yes.
Kotick said in an email to employees, saying, quote, this is Bobby Kotick in the email, until we receive all the necessary regulatory approvals and other customary closing conditions are satisfied, which we expect to be sometime in Microsoft's fiscal 2023 year ending in June 30th, 2023, as I said. It will continue to operate completely autonomously, Kotick said. I will continue as our CEO with the same passion and enthusiasm I had when I began this amazing journey in 1991. And
God.
so I'm going to clarify a little bit. Wall Street Journal sources, this comes via Nibelian on Twitter. Wall Street Journal sources say that Bobby Kotick is expected to leave once the deal closes, saying, quote, Bobby Kotick is expected to leave after the deal closes, according to people familiar with those plans, and that after the deal closes, quote, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Microsoft gaming chief Phil Spencer,
Yeah.
end quote. But the companies have agreed that he will depart once the deal closes. People said.
Gets even juicier though, ladies and gentlemen. There were rumors yesterday, unconfirmed, so I cannot say this is truth or not, that Bobby Kotick was trying to purchase such sites as Kotaku so that he could filter like articles that were about him negatively if he was to get fired or leave and things like that. That's censorship in the media, straight up, right there. I don't know if this is true or not, but there was multiple
That sounds like
reports
some
of this.
conspiracy theorist shit.
There was reports of this. I don't know. I can
From
look right
who?
now. I'll look. I'll take a look. I'm telling you,
Okay.
it was a lot of places though.
I'm going to continue reading. You look for that.
Perfect.
The deal will further extend Microsoft's position in the games industry as a whole. Microsoft announcement outlines the huge scope of the purchase. With Activision's Blizzard's nearly 400 million monthly active users in 190 countries and $3 billion franchises, so $3 billion franchises,
Yeah.
this acquisition will make Game Pass one of the most compelling and diverse lineups of gaming content in the industry, as I would say it already is. Upon close, Microsoft will have 30 internal game development studios, along with
It's
additional
huge.
publishing and esports production capabilities. Guys, Game Pass has been a giant. It is the driving force of the Xbox marketing plan as it stands right now. And this is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this marketing strategy that Xbox has. Microsoft doesn't care whether or not you're buying Xbox Ones, okay? They don't care
Or
about whether you're
Series,
buying Series X's or Series S's. They care about you getting on the service no matter what platform you're playing on currently.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited to let me clarify what I said real quick just before I missed that train. But
Sure.
It's a report from the Wall Street Journal claims Kotaku considered buying video game media outlets Kotaku and PC Gamer. When the finer details of the potential deals have not been revealed, the apparent idea behind buying the companies was to spin coverage back in Activision Blizzard's favor. Not to say anything positive about Kotick and the company, but and that comes from The Gamer and PC Gamer. So PC Gamer is reporting about Kotick possibly buying PC Gamer, which is interesting. But
Interesting.
anyways, James,
Yeah.
like I don't even know where to start with this because there's so many things that we could talk about in this acquisition.
Yes.
A big thing, obviously the one big thing that we hear all the time is, oh, is Overwatch going to be Xbox exclusive? Is Call of Duty going to be Xbox exclusive? All this stuff. We don't know. But what we do know.
I mean, we'll talk about that more in a second
Sure.
because we have specific articles like talking about that. But specifically from like a marketing business like perspective, what are some of your key like takeaways and where do you see Microsoft going? What do you think their overall big plan is with this?
It's hard to say because number one, I don't think we have seen. This is like probably a plan that they've had in place for the last couple years. They've been thinking about not just this company, but what they're doing. And I don't think we've seen
Which
the
is
fruition
impressive.
of that.
That's impressive long-term planning.
Absolutely. Because they have Bethesda. We haven't even seen the full like rollout of the Bethesda stuff yet. We have no idea
No,
how that
especially
looks.
because the exclusivity deals with
Right.
Sony are still
Yeah.
in place.
Totally. So I don't even know how that's going to shake out, let alone how this is going to shake out. I think we have an idea of how that's going to go because of what we've seen so far. But in reality, they're going to surprise us a lot more with whatever's going on here. We don't know the half of it, truly.
We really do not know the half of it.
No. I've heard people talking about, like Jeff Grubb on Twitter was jokingly having a conversation with other journalists and stuff about they're going to be forcing PlayStation to have an Xbox Game Pass app on their thing and forcing things like that. I don't think that's a possibility, but they're joking about it. Like, how else are you going to have an audience? Because here's the thing, Call of Duty is every single year in the top 5 like most grossing games, right?
Yeah.
Every single year. You're cutting off that PlayStation audience that buys that every year, right? So how else would you get them in to make that the most like profitable game each year?
Let's put a pin in exclusivity for a
Sure.
second.
Okay, let's put a pin
Because
right.
we're talking about exclusivity in like 2 separate articles
Okay.
that come straight after this. That's for later.
But I guess what I want to bring up is that Game Pass, you already said it. Game Pass is what they need, is what they're going to keep on pushing.
That is the future of Xbox.
They're going to go with, I guarantee you won't even have to have an Xbox anymore. Like, you're going to be number one
be a
streaming
service. It's going to be like
stick, it's on your TV. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be able to play it anywhere.
Yeah.
You just pack a controller and you're good to go.
Yep.
In
fact, it'll come bundled with your like Xbox Cast or like Xbox Google Chromecast or like
100%.
You know what? They won't even do that. They're just gonna put it on as a service on your Fire Stick, on your Roku stick. They aren't gonna have their own proprietary theme. That's not Xbox's thing. They're interested in the software. I don't think they will.
Because
I really don't think they will. Because
all the people with old TVs, they'll do it. They'll do it. It's like
for people with old TVs, yeah, they'll have the option, but I don't think it's ever gonna be. It's going to be like HBO Max. It's going to be like Disney Plus. It's going to be on every single platform.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think it's like, I think they will sell something specifically for the same reason you just bought like a Roku stick. Like, you know what I mean? Like the TV that you have doesn't have it, but you could plug your stick in and be ready to go. Like connect that.
That's true because also like smart TVs are a huge
thing
now too. So I don't think there would be a need for it with a smart TV. Same way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, same thing. Or God, what was the example I was going to pull? I don't remember.
Like there's so much here. Should I get into the next
piece of the
article here? So obviously we already read about this. With them would come billion-dollar cornerstones like the annual Call of Duty series and the landmark MMO World of Warcraft, which I heard people were like, oh, if you have a Game Pass subscription, you probably are now going to have just a subscription to World of Warcraft. You wouldn't have to pay extra for that, which that's huge. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Blizzard Entertainment, Diablo, and Overwatch franchises, both due for new releases in 2023, could be the first games published by Microsoft once the deal closes. That's to say nothing of King, the mobile game maker behind massively popular franchises such as Candy Crush. I think we have slept on King. Nobody's talking about King, but in the mobile space, they're number one. Probably next to Supercell.
It's revenue. It's straight revenue.
100%.
Like all Microsoft is doing is they're increasing their revenue.
Yeah.
Like they're worried about that. Like, you know, you talk about influencers always like, oh, like passive income. You just want to generate passive income. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just generating all this income at no additional cost. I mean, obviously it costs $68.7 billion.
Yeah.
But that is that's going to exponentially increase that passive revenue.
It's a great investment.
Long-term investment.
It's a great investment.
Yes. And also, Vincent, this brings their total number of internal development studios to 30.
Yes.
Which is 7 more than Sony currently owns.
Yeah. It's giant. That's so huge.
That is giant.
And that's not all. Activision's back catalog includes remasters Spyro Reignited trilogy, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Crash Bandicoot 4, as well as the franchises preceding them. The company was also one of the last heavy hitters to do licensed non-sports video games with remakes of GoldenEye 007, Transformers, Spider-Man, and the Cabela's Outdoor series. What is Cabela's Outdoor series? Do you know that? Oh, it's the hunting games. Got it. That makes a lot more sense. Guitar Hero and Skylanders, which the company shut down in recent years, are still there if the music, gaming, or toys to life genres respectively ever make a comeback. We'll see. And hell, Pitfall, the first blockbuster video game IP developed specifically for consoles, is an Activision product. Okay. Although Microsoft has acquired year and year bestseller like Call of Duty, and 2 A-list franchises for which any development is breaking news. Buying Activision gives the company control of a video game history going back to the dawn of console gaming itself, which could also roll into Xbox's backwards compatibility stuff. Are you kidding me? There's so much here.
And they could bring servers back. Like they have,
Absolutely.
they can do that. So like, oh, you want to play original Call of Duty Modern Warfare?
Yeah, servers
On
are
the
back
original
online.
servers, you can't. Or like they just took off Halo 3 servers from Xbox 360. Come back.
You
Like,
already
you
know
can
in
come
5
back and
years.
play Xbox 360.
In 5
Yep.
years, they come out with that
They're
shit.
gonna pull an Apple with that.
Oh God.
Take stuff away to give it back in the future. Yep.
How will Microsoft address the mess that has been some of the worst abuses we've seen in the video game industry? Well, we haven't really seen all of this yet. This is a question for us, I guess, to answer.
These points are questions for us.
Number one, I think it is obvious enough that, okay, Phil Spencer's not stupid. The people that did this acquisition
Absolutely
are
not.
not stupid. They see us, they hear us, they know exactly what's going on. It would be a huge miss if there was no statement released or anything like that. Right now, all we have is maybe
it would shoot them in the foot.
it would shoot them in the foot entirely. Like, even the rumor that Bobby Kotick is out when the deal is done needs to be solidified within the next couple months. You know, like we need to hear something about that.
Yeah.
But
We need to hear something from Phil Spencer.
yeah, I don't really know the exact answer to what this question would be, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I just need a statement from Phil Spencer saying we are committed to redeveloping frameworks and empowering, like, especially women, and giving them like positions of authority and executive positions to make like decisions that matter.
Yeah.
And they just need to put their money where their mouth is, and that, and actually in the hiring processes, and yeah, ordering some sort of like retribution.
Yep. Nibel points out that the irony of recent reports of Xbox reevaluating its relationship with Activision Blizzard only to buy them out entirely. That is funny. Remember last week we talked about or 2 weeks ago, Phil Spencer was, just reevaluating their relationship. And here we are. He bought them. And okay, James, one more little discussion point before we end this little segment here. What is Sony's move? Does it need a move? Because I think you made a tweet about this. Please read your tweet. I need you to read your tweet.
Okay. So I
almost responded to the tweet.
Okay, so this tweet is, oh my God, someone's trying to FaceTime me right now. This is terrible. Okay, so after I tweeted this, I read Barrett Courtney's tweet, and not Barrett Courtney's tweet. I read Justin Legary's tweet.
Love him.
And God, where the hell? Sorry, this messed up everything for me.
You're good.
I apologize. Okay, so my tweet said, no game franchise reveal or remake will be enough to match Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. So it needs a major AAA Square Enix level acquisition to fight back. After I tweeted this, promptly on my feed, Justin Legary comments, the narrative that Sony is going to answer back by buying EA or any other mega publisher, EA wouldn't make sense anyway, that's Microsoft property, or any other mega publisher is so shockingly out of touch that I can't believe I've read it on the normally reputable outlet, twitter.com. And of course, there's a touch of sarcasm in there. But it's this sort of question of, does Sony need to do anything to respond to this? There's this sort of competitive, like, oh, well, Xbox made this big move. Does Sony need to make a big move in response?
Yeah.
They already have this plan of developing this like sort of new PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, reformulation of whatever that's gonna be. Do they need a Square Enix level?
Here's my 2 cents. I agree strongly with your first sentence of the tweet, which is there is nothing Sony can say that will up this, that will like go above this. There's literally nothing they can do.
Even if they were to buy Square Enix, I don't think it would be.
No, although that's a great acquisition.
The same.
I'd be very happy if they did that. But I don't think they're in the business of one-upping this. They're in the business of, right now, Sony has fans. Xbox has fans on both sides. And I don't want to be this dude that's like, oh, well, the fanboys are always going to be loyal to one side, and that's not true. Because I'm back and forth too. I love me my
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation, and I love me my Game Pass, and that's just it's great. It works so good for me. But Sony's like I don't even know how to say this, but Sony is dedicated to their like high quality first party games, which
Yep.
is not what Xbox is focused on. Even with this
Exactly.
acquisition, they don't get me wrong.
Well, hold
Don't
on.
hold on. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They
Okay,
have
okay,
Halo
okay.
and Forza, which are incredible and some of my favorite games of last year. Right? They're absolutely and beat many PlayStation games there. I don't think Xbox is developing right. They're just acquiring other studios to make them first party instead of trying to make like their other first party games like become hits. They're banking on previous stuff.
Think about it. Well, hold on. You're entirely leaving out Bethesda out of this
I'm not.
equation.
That's previous stuff, except for Starfield.
But it's Starfield
Yeah,
and the next Elder Scrolls game from like
that's previous.
next year going forward. What do you mean? The previously revealed.
Yeah. I meant more of like
They're brand new games.
they're brand new games, but they're built on something. I don't see Xbox
Like previous franchises.
Yeah.
You don't see them coming out with new IPs.
Oh, I mean they are, but not any that are like more enticing than something else they're already making. Like I'm way more interested in like what Forza is than their new like 4-player co-op shooter. That's a first party game made by what's the company?
Are you talking about like Crossfire or whatever it is?
Not Crossfire, but the one where they shoot vampires.
Oh, not Back for Blood.
I don't know.
The
Sorry.
one made by Turtle Rock.
Like
Left 4 Dead devs.
I don't know. It feels like they're keeping. I want to see a purchased studio or something from Microsoft that is developing games only for Xbox that have the same level of like hype behind them and interest around them, such as the like Insomniac first party games of PlayStation.
They do. I mean, they do, just not in the form of brand new.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think they need that.
and I don't think they need it either. But I'm just
They don't need that. That's not like a leg. I mean, for us, it might be a leg up for Sony, but I think for the audience that
yeah,
Xbox is catering to, they don't care.
right. They don't care.
Because you know, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to spend $10 a month,
Yeah,
and get all of these games
Absolutely.
available to you day one on Game Pass.
Yep.
While, I mean, as of right now, I'll speak just in the present.
Sure.
As of right now, our bitch asses are paying $70 per game release
Yeah, occasionally.
over here.
It's
on
true.
Sony.
And I'm very excited to like
And-
play Rainbow Six Extraction this weekend on Game Pass because I'm not paying $40 for that game.
No, and you don't have to.
No, I
You
don't
don't even have to pay $70 on Halo.
No. It's interesting. It's so interesting. But are you ready to wrap the segment,
Guys-
or do you have more? Do you have more you want to say about through this segment?
I don't know. I'll leave it there.
Here's what I'll
leave
say.
it there.
If you want more details and information on Activision acquisition, check out the full podcast on audio platforms or the full video for members on the channel. This conversation will continue. We'll see you over there. Continuing the conversation right now, though. It's for people listening to the full podcast. Sony expects Microsoft to keep Activision games multi-platform? James, what is this about?
This is about following the acquisition of the announcement of Call of Duty publisher Activision Blizzard. Sony responded Thursday to the idea that certain games may eventually become Microsoft exclusives.
Which we've been
about
basically talking
exclusivity.
about this.
Right. This is what I've been telling you to put a pin in, Vin.
I'm sorry.
'Cause
It's hard
this
to
is where
get
we're
ahead of
picking up the
myself.
pin.
It's really
This is where we're picking up the pin. It's
Okay,
okay. I know. It's all a part of this
I know.
huge conundrum, this huge
It's something.
big glob
Yeah.
of acquisition that it's hard to tear it out into pieces, okay? But here's what's going on. This is a quote from a Sony representative saying, "We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements and continue to ensure Activision games are multi-platform." End quote. So this is Sony talking to Wall Street Journal. This is in line with what Microsoft gaming CEO Phil Spencer wrote Tuesday following the announcement that Activision Blizzard games are played on plenty of different platforms, and Microsoft plans to continue to support those communities moving forward.
Yeah.
So, what happens to Activision Blizzard games on PlayStation once those contractual agreements are up? A Bloomberg report citing sources said Microsoft will keep, quote, some of Activision's games, end quote, on PlayStation consoles, but some content will be exclusive to Microsoft and Xbox, saying, quote, it's not our intent to pull communities away from that platform, and we remained committed to that, Spencer told Bloomberg. Microsoft's approach to other acquisitions are all over the board. While Microsoft plans to make highly anticipated Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 Xbox exclusives, the company has a history of multi-platform support with Mojang's Minecraft. With this in mind, it's possible that Microsoft
Yeah.
will keep current releases multi-platform while limiting big new releases with Xbox and PC exclusivity. And this is from myself and going from Bloomberg sources. Microsoft plans to keep making some of Activision's games for PlayStation consoles, but also keep some content exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah. I think I've said all of what I needed to say, but I really do believe that some of the big titles that you would expect to stay on multi-platform are not going to stay on multi-platform. I truly believe that Call of Duty, I mean, I'm okay to be wrong on this, but as of right now, I truly believe Call of Duty will be an Xbox exclusive, but Warzone will not be, or something like that. Like,
Okay,
Warzone will stay everywhere.
Let me throw you something that a lot of people have not been discussing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's for a reason that I am unaware of. What about games that typically have ties to both Activision and Sony? For
Such
example,
as
Destiny.
Destiny split. Bungie split from Activision.
Bungie split. Oh, you're right.
Couple years
Bungie
ago.
did split from Activision.
They're their own independent publisher now.
You're right. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
What else?
Very good point.
There's got to be more. There's got to be more of those that we're not thinking about.
Maybe.
I'm sure there is. Oh, it's crazy, bro. I don't know where this is gonna lead.
I think if there are prominent communities in which the games are historically multi-platform, I think Xbox will offer perks for playing through Game Pass. Maybe
Absolutely.
DLC. I think maybe free DLC
But
or like bonus microtransaction packs, whatever.
is it gonna be the
But
same
I don't
BS?
think they're. I don't think they're gonna pull. I don't think they're gonna pull Call of Duty.
It's got to be.
I think it'll be
huge, though,
available
dude.
day one on Game Pass.
It's
But I don't think it'll pull it from PlayStation platforms.
like to make people play on Xbox more than PlayStation. Let's just say, for instance,
They aren't interested
or Game
on
Pass.
more
Sorry,
people playing on.
more people play on Game Pass or on their platform. The reason, like right now, when Call of Duty has this like every back and forth, like, oh, here's a couple extra content on PlayStation, couple extra content on Xbox. It sucks, and nobody uses it. It's like one gun skin or something like that you're gonna get, or early access to a map by like 7 days or something. Nobody's buying games because of that. They're just playing it on the platform they have, and they're like, oh, cool. I guess I get this a little bit early since I have an Xbox, or a little bit early since I have a PlayStation. I'm saying Xbox, but I mean, it's Microsoft now. It's Game Pass now. So I don't know, dude. I don't think you spend. I'm with Paris on this. You don't spend $70 billion to keep it on PlayStation. You want all the microtransactions to not go through the PlayStation store. You want those microtransactions to go through the Xbox store. That's where they make so much of their money.
Right. Let me throw a crazy wrench.
Throw it. Give me it.
The craziest wrench ever. What if there's no way they could do this. There's no way. But
tell me.
If it were to happen, what if they put Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation?
Right, that's what I'm saying. People are joking about it, but it's becoming I think it's a serious thing. I think it could happen.
Yeah. I think it could happen too. And do you know what? You bet your ass I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to get this PlayStation Game Pass subscription.
Oh, PlayStation
You bet
Game
your
Pass.
ass.
Yeah. Are you?
Or sorry, no, I mean Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation.
Okay. I'm sure
you
it's the
bet
same.
your ass I'd subscribe to it.
That's the thing. It's probably the same subscription. I can't even imagine it being a different subscription.
Than the PlayStation Game Pass?
Oh, no. I mean, sorry. You're talking about purchasing a subscription for the Xbox Game Pass on the PlayStation.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
It's the same subscription everywhere. Imagine there's so many people who do not have a PC and do not have an Xbox that would love to play Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So.
Because it would fit with their marketing model, right? For just generating passive income.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think a marketing model is generating passive income. That's just something that's like
It's a big part of it.
Sure,
it's a big part of it is just generating revenue.
I wonder how that works with like licensing games on Game Pass and how they pay developers and stuff like that. Because like let's say I'm just paying $10 a month for Game Pass and I play like one game a month on it, right? Or something like that. Or I'm
Mhm.
just playing Halo multiplayer, which could be free, like somewhere else,
I don't
which
yeah,
I could be.
I don't think it's by, like, playtime, if that's what
Right.
you're, like, talking
Well,
about.
like Netflix, for instance, when you play a show, that is all like added up into
Uh-huh.
a licensing fee that Netflix will pay to.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
it's like I wonder how Game Pass works, if it's kind of the same concept or not, or maybe they
Hmm.
just buy it from, but they own the studio. So how did the studio get paid? I don't know. That's like a question for someone that worked at Xbox. If you work at Xbox and want to explain that to me, I'd love to actually talk about that because that's fascinating. But
Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be sick.
we got one more article
Moving
here.
on.
One more article. Xbox boss Phil Spencer himself expects PlayStation's inevitable Game Pass rival to include new games on day one. This is talking about Spartacus, which is the code name for PlayStation Plus' subscription service.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's a code name.
Epic.
It is pretty sweet. This comes from Video Games Chronicle. Phil Spencer's the man. I'll say it,
He
dude.
is.
He's the
I
absolute
love
man.
Phil Spencer. He's great.
Dude, honestly, the most awkward thing I've ever experienced meeting him. It was just, it was incredibly awkward, but it was
You were
awesome.
shoehorned into that situation.
Shoehorned in, nicest guy, willing to take a picture though. Details on
Uh-huh.
Xbox Game Pass competitor service reportedly being planned by PlayStation emerged in December and picked up steam last week. We've already talked about this. Codename Spartacus. It's going to launch for PS4, PS5 this spring, potentially. And it's going to be structured in 3 payment tiers. We've talked about this extensively. The first tier includes PlayStation Plus benefits like you have now, such as online play and free monthly titles.
Vincent, hold the phone.
What?
You cut out.
I cut out. Well, you cut out too, which is sad. But I'm recording it. It's recording on my end, legit.
Okay, I'm
So we
sorry.
should be good. You're good.
Okay.
The second tier will offer a large catalog of games like Xbox Game Pass, although not first-party titles at launch. And the third will add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PlayStation games. Asked about the claims by IGN, Xbox boss Phil Spencer said he believes a Game Pass-like service from Sony is inevitable, and he expects it to make new releases available day one in the subscription, just like Game Pass. Although he didn't specify whether he thinks this will include first-party titles. But I'm sure
I mean, it has to.
it has to be even close to a
It has
competitor.
to. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
If not, it's PlayStation Now, which
Yep.
needs a rebrand anyway, but still not enticing. Quote, I don't mean to sound like we've got it all figured out. I think the right answer is allowing your customers to play the games they want to play. This is a quote from Phil Spencer, where they want to play them and giving them the choice about how they build their library and being transparent about them, what our plans are in terms of our PC initiatives and our cross-gen initiatives and other things. Quote, so when I hear others doing things like Game Pass or coming to PC, it makes sense to me because that's the right answer. And he's talking straight up here about like God of War coming to PC, which sold like crazy. Sold
Incredibly
so
reviewed.
many copies.
Every PlayStation game should come to PC day one.
It's big. It's big. I think so too. I think it's a smart move. Spencer continued, I don't look at it as validation. I actually, when I'm talking to our teams, I think it's about inevitability. So for us, I think we should continue to innovate, continue to compete, because the things that we're doing might just be advantages that we have in the market today, but they're just based on us going first. Not that we've created something that no one else can go create. So I think through this statement, he knows that Sony can match Game Pass or attempt to match Game Pass in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But he believes that because they're doing things first, they're getting so much, like, I don't, not just good press, but good, I don't know, goodwill from
good
people.
branding.
Good branding, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the final quote here, I like it because it feeds our energy on what the next things we should be working on as we continue to build out the things we've done in the past. Because I think that the right answer is to ship great games, ship them on PC, ship them on console, ship them on cloud, make them available day one in the subscription. And I expect that is what our competitor will do. Guys, again, I cannot stress that 2022 and 2023 will be like the most transformative in the game space. We thought 2021 was huge for Game Pass. I don't think anybody expected this in the last 2 years for Xbox to just absolutely come out on top. Okay, after the last generation. We will see even more changes in this next year. We are 20 days into this year, and we have the biggest news story like ever in games right here.
Yep.
It's mind-boggling to me, James.
There's another article that I didn't include because it gets a little boggy and a little more nebulous.
Sure.
But it talks about like Microsoft engaging with the metaverse and like how they view that and like wanting to create like communities across just like creating communities across the digital space. But I think that will play a big part in the conversation coming 2022, 2023, as this becomes like a trend in all like digital spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think this is just the first, maybe not the first, but like a step in this huge like trend. Like we're on the edge, the precipice, if you will, of a new type of gaming, like a
Yeah,
new gaming landscape,
right. Not just a console landscape anymore.
not
Could
just
be
a
over.
console landscape. I think maybe the console war is over, Vincent. Maybe this is the
Can you imagine a world, dude, where I plug in my freaking Xbox controller to my PlayStation to play the Game Pass app, and I plug in my DualSense to my Series S to play my PlayStation Game Pass app?
hmm
It's wild. That's crazy to me.
wouldn't be the craziest thing.
Would be the craziest. There's already people playing with the Xbox controller on God of War and DualSense on Halo Infinite, and they love it. It's just their preferred playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, and cheers to them.
Cheers to them. You got to do what you got to do.
And also, cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsors at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com and use the code strictlycasual. That's all one word, strictlycasual, for 20% off plus free shipping.
Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you're going to find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts. It also comes equipped with a 4000K light LED spotlight that will shine a light to the promised land that 2022 looks to be. And for gaming, it does. It looks like the promised land right now. A grooming routine isn't complete without applying the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver before showing off your 2022 self. These unique formulations take care of the smelliest part of your body and are a big boost in your confidence into the new year. So, go check out manscaped.com for our exclusive offer of 20% off plus free shipping with code STRICTLYCASUAL. Cheers to new balls in 2022. Wabam.
Wabam. Guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code strictlycasual at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code strictlycasual. It's new year, new year, no pubes in 2022 with Manscaped.
Guys, this is
Vincent, we're going to need to take a deep breath.
Deep breath. I'm taking a deep breath.
Into this article.
Okay. Deep breath taken. You let me know when I should start, James, because
you're good to go whenever.
This right here is another very large story, I would say. I have been waiting so patiently for more Lego Star Wars news. It is definitely up there in my top 3 most anticipated games this year, okay? But good news can come with bad news, ladies and gentlemen, and this is some really shitty news.
True.
And
really shitty news.
So right here we have a large article from Polygon that says Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga has led to extensive crunch at TT Games. James, you and I are going to tag team this because this is important to talk about. This is so important to talk about.
This is a massive hog of an article.
I'm glad you brought this to my attention because this morning all I saw was the gameplay trailer and I just loved it. I loved it. And then I saw you putting this in there.
Every great gameplay trailer there's a shadow side.
Yes. And this is important to talk about.
This is very important.
I'll start us off here with just a little bit.
Okay.
In late 2017, development studio TT Games, which is Traveler's Tales Games, not to be confused with Telltale Games. It's the double T's. They get me every time. It's Traveler's Tales. Began work on Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at a time when dozens inside the company were at odds with management. Tight development schedules, crunch culture, and outdated development tools. Some employees even reported breakdowns after work. Quote, "It was very soft-spoken blackmail," one former employee says. "If people don't start doing overtime, there's going to be problems." Although, problems were never specified. James, you hold up a finger. What happened?
It was a thumbs up.
It was a thumbs up. Got it. Polygon spoke with over 30 employees anonymously to gather the following info. James, what is the first big point of this article? It's right here. Sorry. Might be. I should have
here it is.
Right here.
Wait, are you in the... Okay, you skipped to the bottom part. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it. 6 former employees who worked under John Burton, co-founder and creative director at TT Games, say he would often yell at staff to return to their desks if they tried to leave work on time, and that he regularly expected employees to put in extra hours. Otherwise, meanwhile, remember leads following employees out of the studio to question their reasons for leaving and their loyalty to a job or to the job.
Yeah.
Quote, the big problem was that crunch was premeditated, says one former employee. It wasn't an emergency protocol for when things went wrong. Instead, it was a tool in the box for production. Projects were planned with crunch periods in the schedule, or even worse, crunch was the schedule. It was a regular occurrence because of the type of games we made. Movie tie-ins and kids stocking fillers. They had all had deadlines dictated by a holiday event or the release of some film.
Which is shit. Because Traveler's Tales, I mean, they literally do Lego games. I can't think of anything else that they've done recently.
They only do Lego games.
All of them are IP based, except for
Yep.
maybe Lego City Undercover, or
Like there was like a Lego Kingdoms game
Yeah.
one time
Lego
for
Worlds.
DS.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So crunch. That's the first big red flag here. But
Yep.
we have another red flag. Employee survey had the lowest rated working conditions that WB has ever received. This goes upon any of their branches of WB or anything WB owns. John told us, who was the co-founder and creative director, he told us during the presentation he was going to hit the reset button in response to the survey results and try to start fresh, says former employee. He started dropping some of the odd rules that we had at the studio, disabling the internet firewall and allowing people to answer phones at their desk. But nothing meaningful that adjusts project timelines, low salaries, or the crunch culture. It was back to business as usual the following Monday. So that's like, what's worse than like a boss telling you they're going to fix these things and then nothing actually happens? Like, it's like false hope. It's crushing, I guess, especially after years of this. It's dumb. But there's more. This is a big one.
There's a lot of other things that led to this. Management made the unpopular decision to develop the game on a new engine called NTT. Sources tell Polygon that employees inside the studio have been pushing hard for TT to switch to the Unreal Engine, with a small group even creating a Lego Star Wars test in the software. This was well received internally by those who saw it, according to both current and former staff. But management decided to continue developing the project on NTT in an attempt to avoid paying engine licensing costs. Members of the team say that in practice, when they got their hands on NTT, it was unstable and it was missing features. Unreal Engine was cheaper to use. It was more accessible. There were like people knew how to use it more than NTT. The
Yeah.
decision to go with NTT and not Unreal was ridiculous.
Yes. From what we've read. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand. I don't understand the decision there. Skywalker Saga was supposed to mark changes in the company's working conditions, but eventually it grew into what many now refer as TT Games' biggest project yet, with management coining phrase "strive for 85," referring to the game's potential Metacritic score. The company's previous highest Metacritic score is 83 for Lego Marvel Superheroes on PS4. Strive for 85, baby. Ugh. Despite the importance of the Lego Skywalker Saga, the studio always had multiple projects going at one time, and that staff were often moved around, putting more pressure on those who remained on the Star Wars game. Quote, the director would request new mechanics on a whim and then ask to be changed while never actually fixing anything that really mattered, says one former employee. Quote, read every review of a Lego game. They always say the same things. Platforming is pants, the camera is terrible, no online co-op. So, let's add God of War style combat tree. 5-year-olds will love it.
Yep.
Sad.
In March 2020, the company appointed former Sony Worldwide Studios vice president Michael Denny as vice president and studio head. Then in August 2020, TT Games head of technical design Martin Palmer left the company. Studio director Paul Flanagan departed shortly afterward in October. We've confirmed that at least 40 employees have left TT Games and TT Fusion since the start of 2021, according to two high-ranking sources. The company employs more than 400 staff across the two studios, which are Warner Bros. And TT, and they declined to provide exact numbers.
Like
Over
10%.
15 of the current 10%
of the company, 40 out of 400. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a big margin. Over 15 of the current and former employees Polygon spoke to say they're disappointed with management's vision for the future and its decision to focus solely on Lego projects. Current and former TT staff also see parallels between what is happening at the company and what Polygon reported was happening at Sony Manchester, with Matthews and Green micromanaging all aspects. of design. A spokesperson for TT Games did not answer specific questions about the company's issues, but provided us with the following statement about its current work culture. Quote, GT Games is committed to creating a respectful, fair, and inclusive workplace for every employee. There have been many efforts in recent years that with new studio leadership and the support of Warner Bros. Games to nurture a collaborative culture and work-life balance our employees can be proud of. Our legacy of delighting fans with the games we have created over the years is very important to us. We recognize our continued and future success relies on sustaining the momentum of the positive changes we have made to date, ensuring every employee feels supported, appreciated, and experiences a true sense of belonging. Meanwhile, a number of senior staffers who have left TT over the last 2 years have since joined Flanagan at 10.
10-10. 10-10. Over the last
And
few months, we've heard some positive steps at TT, which is good. Multiple sources close to the company say TT will no longer be using NTT on future projects. Thank God. Finally agreeing to switch to Unreal Engine, which some view as a potential step forward. Current employees also saying that in the last few months, the company has started paying closer attention to and limiting the amount of overtime that the staff can work. This might potentially be why we haven't seen a release date for the game yet, which is actually good. That's a good thing.
I think that is the reason why.
Yeah. As for well, we do have one today, but it's much later in the year than I expected. So, it's probably good. As for the Skywalker Saga, a mix of current and former employees say that they expect the finished results, currently scheduled for early 2022, it's actually April 5th, to satisfy fans, but they wonder why the staff had to endure so much to get to that point. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's sad to hear about. James, you said something to me before the podcast. I wanted to dig into it. I want to dig into it a little bit. You said, well, number one, regardless of if you have any interest in this game, you said you will not be buying this game under any circumstances now.
I will not be buying this game under any circumstances.
Tell me why.
Because, okay, so this is under the presupposition that conditions do not improve.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think about that. I don't know if that's entirely true for now, because I don't want to give my money to executives. So if leadership is healthy, if it is made healthy, if it is reformed, and my money will go towards those studio executives who are making positive change, I'll give them my money.
Yeah.
But that is to say, if I'm actually planning on playing this game in the first place.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But if there's any way that my money is going towards like someone, I mean, like not an equivalent, but a similar thing would be like the same reason why I wouldn't buy a game published by Activision.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, I wouldn't want to give my money to people like Bobby Kotick.
Yeah.
Right. And people who create crunch, bad working conditions for the employees, because the employees aren't seeing the money that I put into like buying the game, unlike an indie developer in which
They would
like
see right
they
away.
would they would see that money right away because my money is going directly to an indie developer. Rather, but with a bigger studio with like that's connected to bigger publishers, that money has to get funneled down through executives who often don't pay their employees enough anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think me buying that game isn't supporting that in any way. That's not like I'm not giving my money to the person who is doing like the animation design for Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Yeah. So I would have counterpointed before you said all that, but now my point seems like it's already been responded to you, but like responded by you. But I would say like initially the response that I would not buy this game, I would say I am of the opposite opinion where buying the game still supports the people that stuck with the project for years. But I don't actually know how much money the people that actually worked on the game get or receive or even see through like just the average Joe purchasing the game. No idea how that breakdown works. But it's on one hand, I love to see that there seems like they're slowly taking steps, but that does not override the fact that there's been years of crunch. Like we're talking
exactly.
I'm talking back to other games. There's people saying in here that started working at TT from 2005 that there was crunch back then. But that's talking Wii levels of game. We're talking like way back PS2 levels of Lego games.
Yep.
So I mean, at any point we have been supporting this unknowingly. So supporting this knowingly to me is a lot harder. But I feel I don't know. Imagine I'm trying to put myself in a dev shoes that has stuck with this project for years, that has gone through all this shit, and to have no one play the game at the end would be soul crushing, unless they want the project to fail for some reason. But if they wanted the project to fail, they would leave the company, or they would. It sounds like there's already recruiting to 10-10
Well,
games.
also,
There
well,
was
these
recruiting
people
to
like they need to pay their bills.
100%.
You
I
know what
totally
I mean?
understand that. I definitely don't believe that you could just quit to get another job. This is right, but it's tough. I don't know where I stand on this, but I don't think that boycotting the game, for not boycotting, but like not purchasing the game, would be my
That is
answer to this.
boycotting.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
If so, I think it is like you put your like not giving a developer your money is like one of the easiest ways you can like protest a studio.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to
That's why
give money
people
to the management, but that's just how it goes. Like I would have to if I buy the game. That's how it works.
right.
Which
That's
sucks.
how it works.
Yeah. So how else do I support the devs? What's an alternate way?
I think like other than giving like I don't know who else you give money to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm an armchair analyst.
As am I. I'm not. I wish I was there. I wish I was there to see.
But like protest and boycott are the they are the ways for like your average Joe.
I would say,
unless you want to like get into like the like policy making and
yeah,
starts like get into like companies that advocate on behalf or like unions for game developers.
I think my thought is less of like, I don't think that boycotting is always the only way to change things in senses like this and in general. Like that's like my mind goes to other places that I feel like boycotting and protesting is like the final straw of like, okay, nothing else worked. This is the only thing that like could potentially work. Let's try to boycott and change things.
I come at it from the opposite way. I think boycotting and protest is like,
I think it's an extreme. Unless, because
I don't think it's an extreme.
I think that boycotting
money rules everything.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know that boycotting and protesting this supports the people that I want to support more than hurts the people I want to support. In this case,
how would it hurt the people you want to support?
Because then imagine the developers at this company all out of a job after this. All of them. If you were to stop all sales of this game, you are now laying off 400 people at TT Games, and they are all going to find new jobs now. Instead of hoping to try to change the things that the staff is already doing, like not the staff that are already doing, the executives are already doing. You want to make them better, not put all these people out of a job.
But there's no way to actually get to those studio executives and say, "Hey, you should do a better job."
There's no way. You're right. That's why I'm looking for an alternative. That's why I don't.
You can't, because the only alternative then is for them to find a new job at the end of the day. Like if the studio's not going to change, the only alternative is for them to get a new job.
Right.
And whether that happens as a result of their studio going out of business or them personally leaving on their own accord, I think that is the best thing for the developers, is to go to other studios that have better working conditions. If
tough.
Reform is not an option for that studio, they need to leave that studio.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's think about this a little more, because I wish the article said more about that. This is like what I'm more interested in than even like, okay, you see 10% of employees left the studio over the course of the development cycle of Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. At least, let me see. They talked to 30 people who still work at the company. So I don't know how many people they talked to that actually left. It's 10% of the company. That's a huge chunk of people that were fed up and done, right? Whether or not they got a better job or just absolutely just completely done, that they just moved on. I want to know the reasons that the other 360 people decided to stay. 1, they believe in the game enough to stay. 2, they don't have another job opportunity to go to. They financially cannot leave the company. All these are valid reasons to stay. They like legitimately can't. Like that, I really want to know those things. And I would want to talk to those people that represent those 360 and ask them exactly how do we support you? Obviously I can't support financially. Like I can't support financially through like, oh yeah, here's money or whatever. Like normal people, we just can't do that.
Mhm.
I want to know. I want to know if they think boycott is the best option for these people. I want to know if they think, like, my opinion is
Because
so much less than the opinion of the devs working on it. It's just
right.
my thoughts. I don't know. I'm just spitting
Okay,
here.
so
I don't even know.
let's also think about boycotting and what that communicates, because I think by saying boycotting, studio goes under, I think that's skipping a few steps.
Right. That's an
Because
extreme. That's a total extreme.
right.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm sorry. It's just saying, like, because when you boycott and you protest with by not giving a studio money, they're first, like, it doesn't just shut them all out of business,
Yeah. I
because
agree.
money doesn't just all like it doesn't all go out the
And
window
they're
overnight.
funded. They're
Because
funded by
right,
other
and
things.
yes, they are funded by
Yeah.
other things too. A lot of internal funding, things like that. Um, but they see numbers drop, and as a capitalist company that
Mhm.
is like drawn to make profit, they say,
Yeah.
okay, we need to switch something in order to make profit. If they're anything of a good capitalist,
Yeah.
company, right?
Money talks,
Um,
just like you said.
money talks, right? Money talks, and so they say we need to change something, and hopefully that change, it is a it like hopefully, because of the amount of backlash, the amount of people talking on
Yeah.
social media and like posting about it, and the messaging that comes along with that protesting and boycotting, because they are also going to ask, why are they protesting, why are they boycotting,
Yeah.
why are they not giving us their money? And when they're given the answer of, well, you guys aren't giving your employees good working conditions, hopefully that would give them say, oh shit, we actually need to change what we're doing
Yeah.
so that we can make money again. And when they start making money again, then it can, like, it also, hopefully shows down to employees. Once that new leadership is in place that is focused on the betterment and the health
Yeah.
of their employees, then you can then that change actually happens. It's not like, oh, we
Yeah.
stop giving them money and then they just go under.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to me, and I would love to talk to someone that works there, you know?
I would love to talk to like some like gaming economist about like how
Yeah.
boycotting actually affects like the game industry and how to advocate for
Yeah.
workers.
But I don't think that's just economists. Like I really truly think that you have to talk to like people in the actual jobs as well as like how an economist would look at it. I'm
Well, sometimes people in the actual jobs like don't like sometimes they're too surrounded by it to actually like
yeah.
know particular like practices, rather than someone who like researches like gaming unions and
Yeah.
like how unionization works and how that supports. um I think unionization is like could be maybe the best thing like to happen to the gaming industry and the
Hmm.
history of gaming
Hmm.
development.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about any of it. I just know that I'm more concerned about the people than the business, I guess, at the end of the
Absolutely.
day. And I don't know
Absolutely. I
and I
mean,
don't know the
that's what
best
I'm here
way.
for too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could give less of a shit about like Tencent as a actual like
Yeah.
development like company.
Mhm.
I can give a shit, but I care about the workers.
Yeah.
I want the people to live well, to have health and wealth, and to
Yeah.
live healthily and not hate their job, not hate their life.
Mhm. Damn. That was good. That was great.
That was great.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, Vincent.
We got two more little tiny things because we're going long on this episode, but just real quick, I'll go to this one. You can do the next one. Respawn is not canceling its secretive third game after losing director. So
Let's go.
Respawn lost a creative director, but gained a new one who is working on Respawn's next first-person shooter that is not a sequel to Titanfall 1 and 2. It has AAA ambitions, striving for mobility and style as guiding principles, and Respawn will spend the next year prototyping more concepts for its new game and then build to work the final project. And basically,
You totally skipped over the name of the new
Mohammed Avi is the
Alavi.
person leaving. He's leaving the company, and he says it's the end of an area. He did not say where he's going next, but the industry is flush with cash at the moment. Big companies are spinning up new studios, and investors are backing proven creators with big checks for even bigger bets. So we're 100% sure that he's moving on to something bigger and greater because of all the work he's put under Respawn. He's for sure being seen for that. In this environment, it's more normal for from key creatives to move on to bigger opportunities, and few studios have more proven creators than Respawn. So get ready for Respawn's brand new first-person
Can't
game.
wait. I love Respawn. Sony's Fire Sprite takes over Twisted Metal as MotorStorm director is hired. This is exciting too. Wow. This comes to
Sony Fire Sprite. I
videogameschronicle.com.
was like, wait, what did you say at the beginning?
Sony Fire Sprite,
Yeah,
the
that's
soda.
the Fire Sprite.
Yes, Sony Fire Sprite, which is a studio. Video Games Chronicle reported earlier this week that Destruction All-Star studio Lucid has ceased development on a reboot of the classic car combat series, which I understand. We now understand that UK-based Fire Sprite, which was acquired by Sony last year, is the developer which has taken over the Twisted Metal project. It's unclear why Sony decided to move the project to its new first-party studio, but it's worth noting that Lucid and Fire Sprite are located barely 15 minutes from each other in Liverpool, UK, and now there's evidence of staff moving over. As spotted by the Restera user Matt Southern, the director of various MotorStorm games, plus the original pitcher for Drive Club, has this month left his role as game director at Lucid to take on the same role at Fire Sprite.
Drive Club, baby.
Love Drive. I bought Drive Club.
Me too.
It's unclear if Southern was working on Lucid's Twisted Metal project or if he'll be working on the franchise at his new employer. Fire Sprite has multiple projects in production, including the newly announced PlayStation VR 2 game, Rise and Call of the Mountain. Also very exciting.
Fire Sprite, I mean, this is probably the plan all along. You buy Fire Sprite and you give them a project, like something like this.
Yep.
And I'm glad Lucid's not doing it anymore. Not that I dislike Destruction All Stars, but I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't like promising for its new Twisted Metal game.
I didn't like Destruction All Stars.
It was good for 10 hours. Then I was sick of it. I was like, done.
Oh my god! Breaking news.
What? Breaking news.
There's an interview with Phil Spencer at Washington Post.
Oh my god. That's crazy. I don't know. Do we?
I just have a few bullet points.
Okay, bullet point me up real quick.
Read them?
Yeah, just read the bullet points real quick. I mean, make it.
Okay.
We're already at over an hour, and we got to get random fun stuff.
I know. Interview with Phil Spencer. 1, he's confident that the workplace issues at A/B will be resolved. 2, he's happy with new IPs and specifically mentioned King's Quest, Guitar Hero, and Hexen. 3, he wants to support the new teams to work on franchises he loved as a kid.
Okay, so very overall vague stuff, but exciting.
Overall vague, but exciting.
Yeah. I'm going to skip the question of the week this week.
Which will random fun stuff.
Yeah. We're going to skip this baby. Cheesy, I promise we'll get to a question of the week. I know you have a bunch on the Discord. We'll get to them. RFS, let's go, baby. Stories without a story, random fun stuff. Dying Light 2 dev promises a whopping 5 years of updates and DLC after release. This game better get 10s, for people to be playing it for 5 years. It's not.
This game stresses me out every time I read about it.
Did you see that they made another post literally yesterday where they're like 50,000 lines of dialogue recorded, 100,000 options of them. Like, what? Why? I don't want to make 100,000 options playing this game. I just want to play the game.
God. I just want to fight the damn zombies.
Yeah.
Free to play Battle Royale My Hero Academia Ultra Rumble announced.
And it's in beta, limited beta in Japan. And honestly, kind of looks kind of fun. Looks really but looks fun. Leap announced for PS4 and PS5. This is an exclusive game that is a first-person shooter, not Battle Royale. It's like a team-based, but there's hoverboards and shit. It looks really cool, futuristic kind of thing. Ninjas.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's going to be free to play as well.
2021 PlayStation wrap-up reports are ready. I still can't get mine.
I played 703 hours this year on PlayStation, earned 800 trophies, and played way too much Days Gone for absolutely no reason.
That's more than a 1 trophy per hour ratio.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. I usually don't get that. You know what? That's probably the all the stupid platinums I got. I think I got 5 dumb plats.
Those games.
Yeah, James and I send each other these 50-cent games. Dude, I can't get the platinum for that one you send me. It's so hard.
Why?
Because you had to get no deaths in this final, on 4 missions in a row. And fourth mission, I always die. I quit.
Oh my god.
I'm going to get it, though. I'm going to get it.
Horizon Forbidden West gets screenshots, behind-the-scenes video, and a story trailer.
My dog's leaving. Lego Star Wars gameplay over each other. We talked about it.
Call of Duty Warzone Pacific Season 2 delayed until mid-February.
And Google launches beta of Android games on Windows PC, which is interesting. But if Windows PC is already going to have built-in emulating for Windows devices, why would you need an Android app if you have the Google Play app and you can play apps on? I don't know. Doesn't
I
make
don't
sense
know.
to me. Guys, thank you so much for listening to episode 96. That was a fat episode and an incredible episode. James had a great time.
Yeah, we did.
I think we got some banging clips out of that too.
Yeah, we did.
But we'll see you guys next week for episode 97. Please, if you're listening on audio platforms, please check out YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, please check out audio platforms. And if you want to become a member of the channel, it's $2 a month, and you get a fun little badge next to your name. It'll be great. It's amazing. And you can watch the full video podcast. It'll be a great time. We love you guys. Also, if you're listening on audio platforms and there's all of a sudden a mix-up and all of our podcasts drop from the face of the earth for 2 days while we switch platforms, I also apologize in advance because it's scary. That is a scary thing that I'm worried about, and it's causing me great anxiety. But
Oh my God.
we will figure it out. I love you all.
Yeah.
Any final words, James? Just kisses.
Just kisses.
Just kisses.
Just kisses.
See you guys next week. Love you.